Show me the money! Show me the money!
Show me the money! Welcome back to the Show Me the Money podcast, brought to you by Tavern Sports. We have I think one of our most exciting weeks that we've had.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's
been rough.
The last couple of weeks haven't been all that exciting. But since we released our last episode, holy shit, has a lot happened. We're going to start off with our wins from the weekend. I'm going to admit to you right now, I fucked up. I was the only loss last weekend.
Sure mutt.
I know.
We should have made a parlay with and without your picks. I will not let that one go.
And you could have redone it the next day was the nice thing. You know, it's not like this one lost on Saturday in the middle of the day.
You could have just hung with college football and thrown a dart and probably would have hit one.
And I probably should have. Actually, to be fair,
you would have gone with Iowa and lost anyway.
I lost a lot of money last weekend because for whatever reason I was going against like all of you, and that was fucking dumb of me. So I'm going to listen a little bit more this week rather than speak my mouth, because you guys are a little more maybe in depth into these bets is the word for it. So let's look at the wins from last week. Ty, you won with Nebraska, which I think.
What did we all say?
Everybody follows.
Fuck Nebraska.
Fuck Big Red.
I didn't say that. I just hate Big Red. I just despise you for making the pick.
Everybody complained it cashed.
It was because of the pick, though. No one thought it was a bad pick. We just don't like Nebraska.
Exactly.
Are we here to make money?
You made us watch a Nebraska game.
Are we here to make money? You didn't have to watch it. You just had to bet it. And it hit. Next question. Who else won this week, Ethan?
Sure enough, Josh won with Air Force.
Air Force, baby.
Duh.
Support the troops. Guess where we're going this week?
And then Clark, you took an alt spread on Ohio State, which thank God you did that because they won by 14, which would have missed the original 14.5 spread, but you took that 13.5. So props to you for that. Way
to bet a football number, Clark. We've been talking about it for weeks.
Very smart guy.
Good job on Cole winning Oregon as well. That game sucked in my opinion. That was not the
game.
Me and Cole told y'all, Tyler, you're a fucking mutt.
You can't not just ride the Utah train till the wheels fall off at home.
Until they reach fucking Knicks.
Big Show Bo, baby.
Big Show Bo. Let his nuts hang.
And then Parker hit his pick in Arizona for the 9:00 game, which
that was a hot one. I love Arizona.
Was anybody actually awake for that one? Or
I was.
I was, coach.
I had to watch my boys make that upset,
dude,
baby.
I love watching Arizona
getting
play
a
football.
dub.
That kid, whatever, Fafita, I think is his name, or Fafia. Fafia. Mark my words, in 2 years, he's in the Heisman conversation. I don't know if it's at Arizona. He might transfer to a better school, but he'll be in the Heisman.
I don't know. They got a decent squad down there.
All right, and then the one loss that we had, like I said, was my Rangers at -1.5. I wanted to just bet them the money line that night. However, our lock of the week, the odds are supposed to be -150 or better, and they were -168 to win. So I couldn't take that money line. I was hoping that the Rangers could cover, but unfortunately they didn't.
But hey, if they rode with all our bets last week, they would have hit 65% of their bets and won money.
Sure enough,
we're basically just saying every bet we give you, just place it.
Correct.
Place one unit, you'll win every week.
Overall,
we do not give gambling advice. We gamble responsibly.
Overall, our lock of the weeks, guys, we are 37, 15, and 1. So, like,
that's
if that's
good numbers,
if that's not, it's not. If that's not, I understand we haven't hit a parlay yet, but we're one loss the last 3 weeks. Each week, I should say. So we're that close to doing it. Everybody's learned where they're at. Just a matter of, hitting that final one. But speaking of the Texas Rangers, can you take me higher? Oh my God. 5 games. I was the only one that called that. That was fucking awesome. Sorry.
Snakes are still alive.
Clarky.
It's because you didn't squad ride.
Well, I didn't squad ride because I was pretty confident in my Texas Rangers. Corey Seager, good God, just dropped dick all World Series. Hopefully everybody was betting his total bases and overall just the Rangers to win, because that's kind of what happened over and over and over again. But yeah, I mean, for me, that was an exciting series, whether you bet on the Diamondbacks or the Rangers. Congratulations to the Texas Rangers for winning their first ever World Series. And I believe it was 53 years, 52 or 53 years.
52,
yeah.
I think it was.
52. Okay. So congratulations to them.
Now only 5 teams without a World Series. Don't be scrubs. Win World Series.
Exactly. I think the World Series odds are already out for next year.
Give me the Cardinals.
The 2 favorites being the Dodgers, Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Atlanta Braves, which I don't know if anybody's all that surprised by it, but at plus 700 odds, I just wait to bet on it once they make the postseason, because it's not worth it. And then, of course, you have my shithouse Chicago White Sox all the way down at the bottom at plus 8,000. So,
Or my Cardinals.
I actually didn't take a peek at them, unfortunately. So
they're probably down there next to your White Sox. Let's be honest.
I would agree. Into the next segment of this podcast, we have our college football games, which I think, honestly, we have a hell of a week. Oh, I almost forgot to mention one of the biggest changes to our favorite team, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Oh my God. Did they do it finally?
Get
Nah,
fucking
nah,
lost.
nah. Nah, 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 nah. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. See ya, Brian. Thanks
Get
for
fucking
nothing.
lost, loser.
So if you weren't updated, Brian Ferentz has announced his resigning. That will be effective at the end of the year. He will still be, around this year, unfortunately, but I don't think that there was any changing that. There's not going to be a change this year that would make any sense at this point. So we're fine
is somebody
with
else calling plays for the
No.
rest of the year? Or is he still retaining plays?
It's Brian. Same old Hawks the rest of the year.
yeah. We just
But
won't-
there's light at the end of the tunnel now.
Yep.
And
I think
we talked a little bit of, we all think, or not all of us, but a few of us think that's a pretty attractive job. I mean, as long as your offense isn't the worst offense in the country like the Hawks typically have, you have a chance to compete for a college football playoff spot every single year, because the Hawks just consistently have a top 20 defense. Realistically, if your offense can be right around that, personally, I think probably 100 number or maybe 80, somewhere in that window, I think they can compete. If you can score 25, 30 points a game, the Hawks could figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's better than 80. I think everybody's hoping for a little closer to 60 in the nation.
To beat Ohio State or Michigan or Penn State, whoever comes out of the East. And then now even to win, well, technically the divisions East and West are gone with our Pac-12 friends coming in. I don't know
how
how
they're doing.
Yeah, the divisions are gone. So it's going to be a lot more competitive. We're not going to need a top 80 offense. We're going to need a top 50 offense, honestly, to be able to want to compete. We had a chance in this format to be able to go in, win the West, and upset somebody big in the championship game for the Big Ten. and maybe sneak in. There was a time Iowa was ranked 2 in the nation. Like, we've missed our window with that. I still think we can be super competitive, though, with these Big 12 team guys coming in. We're just going to have an offense that can hang with them in the scoring, because if our defense is out there for a majority of the game against these high-flying offenses, we're going to get hung out to dry. The guys are going to get exhausted. Like, it doesn't matter if you have a top 20 defense. If they're playing 40 of the 60 minutes every night, like, they're just going to get torched. So
I
hopefully
think there's something to
somebody
say,
in there.
though, about these Pac-12 teams. I mean, this year, yeah, they've played against some tough defenses. There are some tough defenses out west, but traditionally, there's not a lot of defense played in the West, so they're not going to be used to the style of football that gets played in the Big Ten, specifically in the Big Ten West. Has the Big Ten come out and said, are they just doing open conference play, or have they not said anything yet? We just know that the divisions are gone.
They gave us a schedule for next year.
Yeah, there's a schedule for the next 2 or 3 years out.
Yeah.
Before we get into the game, to clarify, there will not be East and West anymore. It will just be the top 2 teams in the standings in the Big Ten facing each other in a Big Ten title game. But let's let that lead us into this week with Iowa. They are going up against Northwestern at Wrigley Field. Iowa is 5-point favorites, and the total on this game is, shocker, really fucking low. What is the
Record
actual
fucking low?
Right now? Because I was going to say, I thought I saw 29.5, which is the all-time record low.
We've beat it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
I got 31.5 live.
I got 31.5 too.
It is back up to 31.5, but Cole, you're right. There was a point where this game was at 29.5, and I think the books probably got punished for it. If that number was still live, it would have been the lowest of all time. Iowa has been in the 4 lowest totaled games of all time in the last 2 years. Even at 29.5, I'd still take the under with these 2 teams. I don't know if Iowa can score, and I'm pretty damn confident Iowa's defense isn't going to let Northwestern score. I don't know, 9-3 game here, boys, but I'm going to go ahead and take Iowa money line, probably in a parlay, but I'm definitely, shit. I'll take them on the spread, not love it, but I probably won't put their spread into a parlay, but I'll definitely put them money line into a parlay.
God, it's going to be such a boring game.
I'm not going to turn it on.
Yeah,
I'm not going to.
The only reason to watch it would be like if you are a Iowa and Chicago Cubs fan. Like,
yeah,
it's going to be really cool to see them play at Wrigley, and I even looked at getting tickets to that. I'm not a Cubs fan, but watching a football game at a baseball stadium, especially a baseball stadium that I don't like the team, so if there's a way for me to go to the stadium and not actually watch the team, great.
Well, and especially in Wrigley. Wrigley used to host the Chicago Bears way back in the day. They were the home of the Chicago Bears for a few years, so seeing football in Wrigley again would be really cool.
Yeah, and they've had bowl games there before, I think, or like special games. But
Notre Dame's played there a few times.
Yeah.
Bruins! Boom! Come on, baby. Sorry, boys. Hockey parlay is live right now.
But for me, that's the only reason to watch it. You continue to bet the under. It's going to be hard for Iowa to cover 5, I feel like. Only because I struggle to see Iowa scoring more than 3 points after last week. So, after 2 weeks ago, I should say. They were off last week, but and the Brian Ferentz news, how is the team going to play with their offensive coordinator, no longer, or at least announcing that he's not going to be a part of the team next year?
I don't think the boys really got up for Brian beforehand. I don't see them. And he's not going to change his format. He's not going to come out and start airing the ball out. His job's lost. It's going to be the same Hawks. So, they're going to come out and execute their game plan. But where's everybody standing at spread-wise? Where are you guys leaning here?
This
I don't
Northwestern
I'm not
like
team-
5.5. I'm not touching the
Northwestern's
spread.
a negative game script team. They put up about 307 yards on offense, and they give up about 351 on defense. Say negative game script and points 2. Give me Iowa minus the 5.5. I don't know if Northwestern gets north of 9 in this game.
So I'm with the Hawks. Josh with the Hawks. Clark, Parker, you guys, Clark's with us. Parker, you're out. Keeping your hard-earned money off of it.
If I'm betting money on this game, I'm throwing money on the under, and that's
I'm on
it.
the under as well.
There you
That's
go.
it. That's the
Yeah.
only thing. As a Hawkeyes fan, I hope they win, but regardless, if I'm putting money on it, I'm hitting the under.
Yeah,
Only way
I
this
do-
game goes
I don't
over
want
is
the
if
spread, and I
Hawks-
don't want the money line.
The
There you
Hawks
go.
would have to put up 28 for this to go over, and even then it might not. It might sit at 31.
There is a world that Iowa does cover, and I think they will, but it's so hard to tell watching the Hawkeyes play football if they're going to have a good day or if they're going to kick fucking 3 field goals and call it a day. So that
Hey,
being
there's
said,
a good chance.
there is a good
They
chance.
still
but
cover.
even
They can
then-
still cover with that.
They play football for one quarter, and you
Here's-
never know which quarter that's going to be in.
Here's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
here's the thing about kicking those field goals, though, that they're not in Iowa and they're not at Northwestern. They're at
And it's
Wrigley Field, and
windy as fuck.
it's really windy, especially at this time of the year. So,
Pound the rock, baby.
definitely bet the under. It's going to be a lot of running.
There'll be a
Um,
Hawkeyes home crowd too, even all the way in Chicago.
oh
I
yeah,
think a lot of Iowa City fans are gonna make the trip out there, have a nice little weekend in the city. And Northwestern fans don't show up when they're at home because they're dog shit. So
They don't even have a
show up.
field, bro. Ryan Field is no more.
Let's get to a better game, though. I think everybody's either on Iowa or on the under. But we got a top 25 matchup brewing, and it's number 25 Kansas State heading into number 7 Texas. Texas on the outside of the college football playoff looking in. Texas is minus 4.5. Quinn Ewers is still out. I personally am going to ride with the Longhorns. This is a ranked matchup. It looked like the college football committee, they were looking at strength of schedule. So it's not like a huge, phenomenal win for them if they do come out with it this week. But if they can come out and dominate with a backup quarterback, I think it's going to show like, hey, we got depth and there's a chance. But with Quinn Ewers being out for 4 to 6, it's going to be tough. Kansas State's no slouches, though, but I will be putting my money with Texas at home here. Clark, you're a Big 12 guy. What do you like?
I'm taking Texas as well. They've looked like one of the best teams in the country. I still think they're a great team with I can't remember his name. It starts with an M, but with that backup quarterback. Yeah, he's still also a great quarterback. And they've got Arch Manning behind him as well. Also think he's a great quarterback.
I don't think Arch, even if the kid gets hurt, it's college. There's 5, 6, 8 quarterbacks on that team. They are not burning Arch's red shirt. They won't do it.
Either way, I still think Texas beats Kansas State.
If Quinn was out for the rest of the year, confirmed, and they knew that 2 weeks ago, I think maybe they would have thought about burning Arch's red shirt. They won't.
We're ifs and buts, we're candy and nuts here. I mean, we'll see if the kid ever gets a shot, but the guy playing, he looked good last week. So, Parker, where are you at here?
Yeah, I'm riding with you guys. I like Texas here. This new backup, he looks pretty decent. So I think Kansas State would be a really good first test to see how this guy's going to pan out for the Texas future. So I think it's going to be a good game. There's a lot of watch here for them looking into the future.
Yeah. Cole?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't think Kansas State's defense can hang with Texas. Their offense is fast. They move good. They're fucking big. They got a big ass fucking O-line that I think is going to pummel their D-line. I think Texas 4.5 is a good place to put your money. I also don't hate the over. It's at 49.5. I think that's definitely achievable. I think it's going to be Texas is going to run the fucking score up until they can't because they're pissed off. They're pissed off. They're looking in from the outside and they want to, prove that they are who they are. it'll be a great game for Texas. Kansas State's going to get their fucking feelings hurt.
Josh, you with us?
No, I'm solo riding Kansas State here. Cole said something about Kansas State's defense. Kansas State is right behind Texas. Actually, they're right ahead of Texas. They're 14th in points allowed, whereas Texas is 15th.
Look at
To
Texas's offense.
Excuse me.
To that point,
Please let
Josh,
me.
have they faced a quality opponent yet?
They
Or
got
have
beat
they-
by
or-
Mizzou
Texas
early
has.
on.
Mizzou, they played
Texas
Mizzou.
played Bama.
Yeah, we know Texas has a
We know,
strong.
And won.
Texas has a resume. I'm not, but the other thing is, Texas is 27th in yards on defense, and K-State's 45th, which I know that's a good gap, is 12, but it's only 15 yards. That's just how tight that area of the standings are when it comes to that. And Kansas State's offense is better. It actually, statistically, it is a better offense. Not like we've already said, they haven't played anybody great. They played Mizzou, lost by 3 earlier in the year. But I don't know. I like K-State here. And then on the totals, this is historically an under. It's 3-7 in the last 10. The last 4 have gone under, over, under, over. So if you want to play trends, under is the one that's going to hit this year if you're playing the flip-flops. So personally, I'm on K-State and I'm on the under.
Ethan, where you at? You riding with Josh or you riding with the rest of us?
No, I think I'm going to ride with the rest of you. I like the Texas 4.5.
Solo ride Josh.
Solo ride, baby.
I don't think that I think ranking Texas at number 7 says something about the committee trusting them. However, I do think for a 4.5 point spread, it's kind of small for how big of a difference there is, especially when you're talking about the Texas team being at home. I think Texas even minus 6.5 would be a good bet.
All righty. Into our next one.
Oh, hey, hang on. You said something about the strength of schedule and opponents. One thing that is interesting is they have a recent opponent in Houston. And I think this is, when I was doing my research, I think this is what kind of tilted me because I was on the edge here. K-State beat Houston 41-0 last week. 2 weeks ago, Texas only won by 7, 31-24. I think that's what tilted me at the end of the day.
That's big football, though.
Yeah, it's a good look. I mean, no, I don't think anybody's going to knock you on this pick. It's not the worst one to be against everybody on.
No.
But if you do lose and we're all right, expect to get some shit. Into our next one, we have Notre Dame going into Death Valley and facing Clemson. Notre Dame's ranked number 12. Clemson's 3-point home puppies. Clemson's 4-4. A lot of the Clemson fans are saying Dabo's on the hot seat. I think Dabo's untouchable. He's got 2 natties. Yeah. They're in a down year. I mean, it is what it is. He's not a big NIL guy. He's not a big transfer portal guy. So being with that philosophy, he's got the young guys up now. They've sent out the studs that were there. So they're actually kind of doing a traditional rebuild, which I don't hate. However, they came off last week losing to NC State, who is not a good team this year. They don't have Devin Leary at quarterback anymore. So a really ugly loss for Clemson. On the other hand, Notre Dame is coming off a shellacking last week. I think they hung 58 points up. Granted, they weren't facing the best opponent, but it's like a different tale. Notre Dame's battle tested. They've been battle tested all year. Just top 25 after top 25 for 3 weeks in a row there. And I think that kind of galvanized the boys. And I think Marcus Freeman has these guys going. They know it was tough, but I think they're still competing for a really, really good bowl game. So I'm going to go ahead and take Notre Dame minus the 3, strictly because it's just 2 different teams right now. One's trending down. Notre Dame's still fighting. They're battle tested. Clemson is going to put up a fight. I don't think it's going to be a massive blowout, but I'm definitely going with Notre Dame minus 3 here and feel really, really comfortable about it. Parker, where are you at here?
My favorite team, the Fighting Irish. Yeah. I don't fucking know. I would like to say Clemson could fucking hang in there and do something, but I don't think they're gonna get anywhere. So if you guys are forcing me to pick, I guess I'll have to go with your fucking faithful Irish.
That warms my heart, Parky.
But it's
Parky,
only because
if
you
it makes you
guys,
feel
if
any
they
better-
lose, I'm gonna rub it in everyone's face and go, "I told you."
Clarky, if
I
it makes
think
you
you
feel
should.
any better, this Clemson defense does not give up any yards. They're 6th in yards allowed on the year.
Yeah, I know, but it's just their offense. I mean, like Kluberg's got. There's been things saying that he's not doing anything. I mean, he's 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I mean, it's not horrible, but I just don't know what's going on with them, and I don't know. It's just I think Notre Dame's a way better team put together. So like hopefully they click.
Hey, you don't gotta love it. Just like me with Nebraska last week, you don't gotta love it, but if it's good money, it's good money. You know what I mean? So,
But like I wouldn't even put my money on it. You guys are just making me pick.
nobody's forcing you to pick. Are you off it?
You did pick it.
He's only off of it because he knows the right pick is Notre Dame. Let's be honest.
No.
No.
You would take
Clemson. I
You're
don't
telling
care.
me I would honestly take Notre Dame at -5.5 or 6.5. I think they can go into Death Valley and give them the business.
All right.
I'm with Clark. I think I've bet against Clemson 2 or 3 times this year, and I've
bet
won.
this year.
I've won every bet where I have bet against them. So I'm going to continue to do that. Give me Notre Dame at least -3.
Well, you know why that's a good
Yeah.
bet, E? It's because Clemson's 2-6 ATS this year. And they're going to be 2-7 after this week. The only thing that scares me is we all know Vegas fixes football games. And this number's really low. And maybe it's the Death Valley effect. Maybe it's the Dabo effect. I don't really know. But 3 is a really low number, in my opinion, for this game. Cole, what's up?
Clemson also takes this game super fucking serious.
They do that.
Every year. This is the game that
This is their
everybody with season tickets, everybody with student tickets goes to. They party fucking hard. I was supposed to be up going to this game. I'm ending up just tailgating, watching it kind of in a parking lot. But everybody shows out for this game. That's why this number is so low, is because it's a fucking huge game for them. That being said, 5.5 is fucking hot. The Fighting Irish, I don't think there's a chance that Clemson remotely.
They're at 3, buddy, not
It's
5.5.
3.
I said I
5.5
would
would be
tease
an
him.
all.
I'm fully aware.
Okay.
My
Alt
fucking
spread
God.
5.5 is hot. I don't think that Clemson's going to hang in with them. I think this is going to be a blowout.
Another
I
thing
like
that
that.
could be scary here is this is another like repetition, kind of whatever you want, trend in this series. They've only played 5 times, but it's all been since 2015, and it's gone Notre Dame covers, Clemson covers. Notre Dame covers, Clemson covers. Last year, Notre Dame covered, which means it's Clemson's turn to cover. But
Not
I
happening.
mean, I'm not changing. I'm just saying if you like that
It's
trend,
not.
if that trend scares you,
This team isn't the same as they have been the past few years.
They haven't had Sam Hartman before.
They haven't.
He's gonna get up for this. Ethan,
Dude,
where are
he's
you
so
at
sexy.
here?
I already told you I'm Notre Dame.
Hell yeah. So it's everybody Notre Dame, even though Parker hates it.
let's talk about the number 1 school in the country. They got another SEC opponent ranked in those 12 to 18 area. They've shown up twice already. They're probably going to show up again. It's 15-point spread against Mizzou. Cole, what do you think?
I don't know. I fucking hate Georgia. And I think Mizzou could honestly show up. It depends. 54% of the money is on Mizzou plus 15.5, but I think I'm going to ride with that 54%. I think Mizzou could come and they can show up. They're 7-1. They're 5-3 against the spread, and Georgia is 3-5. So I am riding Mizzou 15.5 solely based off the vibes.
So Mizzou, if you guys remember last year, Mizzou took Georgia down to the wire last year in Missouri. However, this one is down in Georgia. Athens, I think, is going to actually be ready for this game. They got put on upset alert last year by them, so I don't think this year they're going to come in and fuck around with them. Granted, Mizzou has a pretty decent defense. Georgia could be pretty fired up that in the college football playoff poll, though, they were number 3 because of strength of schedule. They really haven't played anybody. So this kind of is their true first test.
Well, no, they've played 2 other ranked SEC opponents, and they shellacked them.
Yeah, but it was like a Kentucky team that was on their way up and not that great, and they handled business against Florida. Like, I think this Georgia team is just strictly business, and they don't really care how pretty it is. They, like we said last week, they can't get kicked out of the playoffs unless they lose. They haven't lost in 2 years. You know what I mean? You're not going to put a one-loss team in over them. So even if they come in at number 4, I think that's just going to be more ammo for them. So, Ethan, where are you at here? Because I'm still trying to make up my mind.
I saw the reason I wanted to cover this game so early specifically was because I had seen a TikTok talking about the Mizzou Georgia game that was going to be happening. Mizzou last year, like you said, Ty, they brought it down to within a touchdown?
4 points.
4 points.
26-22.
So, and that Mizzou team was a 500 team last year, unranked. They weren't nearly as good as they are now. I understand the game was home at Mizzou, but like Mizzou is for real this year. They're 7-1. Georgia has had some competition, but I feel like this is one of those games where early Mizzou could get ahead and Georgia just gets stunned and not ever recover from it.
So you're going Mizzou plus the points?
I'm gonna take Mizzou plus 15.5 or plus 15, whatever it's at now. Give me Mizzou.
Cole, where were you at, or have we gone to you yet? I'm sorry.
Plus 15.5 Mizzou.
Okay.
Clark?
Give me Mizzou plus 15.5. I think this Mizzou team's pretty darn good. They've proved it to us this whole year, honestly. I don't think they can win this flat out against Georgia, but I think they keep it close, maybe a touchdown. And I want to talk totals too, Josh.
Yeah, let me give my pick, and then I'd love to talk totals.
Okay, yeah. Give your pick, and we'll talk totals.
When I did my research, I put UGA minus 15, but I put right next to it, I don't like it. This Georgia team's your classic, I'd like to call it like a traditional football coach team where the coach does not give a fuck about the spread and they don't give a fuck about your bets. The only thing that coach cares about is if they win by 1 point. Kirby doesn't care if they beat Vandy by 1 point because as Tyler said numerous times, they haven't lost in 2 years. A one-loss Georgia team, even if it was to fucking Bowling Green, is the first one-loss team that gets into the playoffs. So that being said, I'm gonna flip to Mizzou minus 15.5 or plus 15.5. Sorry.
God damn it! I didn't make my pick yet because I didn't know where everybody was going with this, and the only person I actually gave a shit about listening to was Ethan, because for whatever reason, Ethan has been on the right side of all these Georgia matchups. He was on the right side of Georgia, Kentucky. He was on the right side of Georgia, Florida, and he's picking Mizzou here. And I really wanted to go with Georgia because I thought they were going to be woken up, and I think they're going to be pissed off that they're number 3 in the rankings. And it's at home. They almost lost the guys last year, and Ethan went and picked Mizzou. So, I'm going to beat that asshole that picks Georgia, and I shouldn't because Ethan has been on the right side of this Georgia game all year long, and it's pissed me off that I haven't rode with him. I'm aware of it now, and I'm still not riding with you, Ethan. I'm so fucking sorry, but I can't do it.
I think you're right, Ty. I mean, we said it last week against Florida. Georgia shows up. and beats these SEC teams so that they have their little, here you go, committee. We can play football. We don't care about these other games. Just look at these three. Look at Florida. Look at Kentucky. Look at, Mizzou after this week. Here's your proof.
So the deciding factor for me was I had seen a TikTok from his name is History Channel Guy is his @. So
reliable source.
That guy fucks.
Take that as you will. He's kind of like gives me like a Barstool-esque type of TikTok guy. He mentioned that they have a big piece of their game out, and that is Brock Bowers is announced as not playing.
He was out against Florida, and honestly, this is the best.
The next guy up is so good.
Yeah, they handled business without him last week. I'm just going to go and say I will take Georgia minus 15 with air quotes. I would probably personally buy this down to 13.5. Give me a football number.
Clark, you wanted to talk totals here. What do you think on the total, buddy?
I kind of want to take the under here. I don't know why. I just have a gut feeling. 55.5.
Under. I'll ride with you on the under.
I just have a feeling. I couldn't give you any statistics. It's going to go under.
I like it.
Well, what do you think on the total, buddy?
I don't think it matters. I think it's going to be either it's 1 over or fucking 1 under.
I think it's a good line. See, if Mizzou covers like you guys think, I definitely think it goes under. Line. I think Mizzou, if Mizzou covers, this goes under. But if Georgia wakes up and wants to piss excellence like we know they can, they could fucking hit this over on their own potentially. Like
they put up 43 against Florida and 51 against Kentucky. Their other two, like where we've said they need to go out and prove it. So if they're like, okay, we gotta go out and prove it again, they'll you put them right around that 45 number.
I do too, but I think Mizzou has the best offense that Georgia's seen.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I think it's going to be an over. I think it could be an over. Yeah.
No, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a shootout for sure. I had it over at 54.5. I'm going to have it over at 55.5.
That's the thing for me personally with this Georgia team. I don't think they have to play their best to beat any of these teams. They can go out there and play mediocre and win games, and then they just need to get hot in the playoffs. I think this Georgia team can go out and beat any team, any given day.
Yeah. But with that being said, I'll still ride the under. Even though I'm contradicting myself and saying Georgia wins and covers, I'm going to take the under. Win under last year. Two good defenses. So that's kind of where I'm at with this one, plain and simple. But Clark, we got to give you some love this week, man. Number 22, Kansas, coming into Jack Trice. And it is after dark at Jack Trice, and scary shit goes on there after dark to top 25 teams when they come in to play the Iowa State Cyclones. Iowa State, minus 2.5. Guys, we've talked ad nauseum about the Hawks. We love the Hawks on this podcast. Clark, on the other hand, has a tattoo on his leg that says, fuck the Hawks. He is the biggest Iowa State fan I've ever met. He ride or dies with these guys, except for in wrestling, which is fucking weird. He does like the Hawks in wrestling. Don't know how that works, but
that's just smart pick.
Clark minus 2.5 against Kansas, who just came off of a
huge win.
Massive win in Kansas, though. Does Jack Trice after dark strike again this week? Where are you at?
I'm taking Iowa State's points. Minus, what is it, 2.5 you said?
2.5.
2.5.
We're going to need every fucking bit of it because it's going to be a battle on Jack Trice.
Do you think you buy it to 3 or to 3.5 rather?
No.
They're minus 2.5, Josh. They're minus.
We're
I'm
favored.
Stupid, bro.
We are favored.
It's not. I'm not used to Iowa State being a favorite in things.
Fuck you. No, I think Iowa State.
I look at Iowa State one time a year, man, and they're never favored.
No, this is the Big 10 or the Big 12 right now there's like 4 or 5 teams tied for first. And I'm pretty sure it's Texas, Kansas State. That game's going to be great to watch. Kansas, Iowa State, and I think Oklahoma are all tied right now in the Big 12. And this game is going to be crazy. But I'm taking Iowa State -2.5. But I'm also going to take the under on this game.
All right. Now, I got to ask, is that you betting with your heart and saying, I just ride with Iowa State? Or is that betting with your head and you're saying, like, I legit think Iowa State has a chance?
Both. That is me betting on ranked teams coming into Jack Trice at night and them usually losing.
There's like a crazy statistic. They lose all the time.
It's like 9-1. Like, teams come to die at Iowa State at night when they're ranked. We are the team that gives the upset that everyone wants to watch.
You don't want to see the Cyclones on your schedule when you're hot. It's scary. Shiver me timbers.
We're the team to do it, and we're going to do it again.
Wasn't there a year the Hawks finished like X-2 and one of our losses was to State?
I think so. I mean, we've beaten like plenty. Like, we beat Oklahoma State when they were ranked like 2 in the country, and we were like a 2-win team.
I'm gonna go ahead and hate to do this, but you got to make your enemy your friend once in a while. I did it with Nebraska last week. I will ride with the boogeyman this week. I will go ahead and get some of that Jack Trice magic and ride with you, Clark. Is it against my better judgment? Probably, but I rode with you with the Diamondbacks. You led me astray, so I'm giving you a second chance. After this, I'll put you down like a sick puppy. Iowa State -2.5. Parker, where are you at?
Yeah, I can't do that, Tyler. I'm gonna ride with
this was coming.
I'm gonna ride with my Jayhawks, baby. They're a good team. I think they just lost a couple close ones. Well, they just beat Oklahoma. Shit. Never mind. Yeah. So Jayhawks on the road. Give me Grim. Give me +2.5 or +2.5. Yeah. Kansas.
All right, Cole.
Fuck the Cyclones.
Suck my dick.
I'm riding with fucking Parker. I think Kansas covers this.
Josh,
I want to hear Ethan first because we all know Ethan's probably the biggest Hawks fan in this call right now. So I want to see if he flips.
You know, and it's interesting because I'm only a fan because I went there. Yeah, I could wherever I went to college, I would have been just as big of a fan of whatever college team I was watching.
Ethan, you went to Iowa?
Yeah, Ethan went to Iowa.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Best baseball manager. He was part of the betting scandal. He was part of the betting scandal.
He showed him how to do it.
He
said, "Use my referral code."
I promise you.
Like a mutt
the entire Iowa wrestling team banned. Ethan did it. He started the whole gambling investigation. He got all the referral codes and then turned them into the NCAA.
Promise you, it was not me.
Call it Tavern Gate.
Promise you, I had nothing to do with that. Anyway, I went to school there. So I'm a big Hawkeye fan. It's hard to bet on Iowa State. And I was leaning Kansas. And you guys mentioned how good Iowa State is at home at night against ranked teams. And I recall even my past 4 years at Iowa, it was that way whenever a ranked opponent went there, it was like Iowa State would be like 3-8 that year, 3-4 that year. They'd get toward the end of the year, they'd be 3-6 or something. And then they'd go out and absolutely fuck up whatever ranked team comes into Iowa State that night. So they're a solid team. Especially at night. It's just I don't know if I can willingly bet on Iowa State. It's easier for me to just say, yeah, I'll keep my money in my sports betting account.
All righty. Josh, where are you at here? Ethan didn't help you out none.
No, he didn't. I'm not going to lie.
Still pick.
When I saw this on the rundown, I was like, why in the fuck are we talking the Cyclones when it's not against the Hawkeyes? And then I did a little dive on the game, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is why. these teams are, one of those polar opposite games. Kansas has an electric offense. Iowa State has a really good defense. I mean, like right behind Iowa, they took Big Brother's notes and copied them down, man. They're like, we want to be good at
Shut
defense.
the fuck up. Our defenses are completely different, and you know that.
No, because you're still worse than ours. Anyhow, and then on the offensive side of the ball, it's the same thing. Iowa State fucking sucks, and Kansas's defense is dog shit. So I figured out why we were picking it. It's also, like Tyler said, Jack Trice at night, Boogeyman. The week after Halloween, though, if it was last week, it'd be a hammer all day on the clones. But even this week, I'm on the clones. I don't really like it, but sometimes you gotta pick games you don't like. We all picked Nebraska week 1, and it sounds like we're leaning Iowa State. A couple people went against, but the majority of us are on Iowa State. Should be a good matchup.
It'll be a great game, in my opinion. I almost bought tickets to go to this game, but I'm probably going to go to the Iowa State-Texas game. So
let's talk about one of the most electric matchups that's going to be on TV this weekend. Number 5 Washington going into South California playing number 24 USC. USC's +3 here. Cole, what do you think, buddy?
Oh, this is going to be your game of the week. This is going to be a game that's going to be a complete fucking shootout. I think Caleb Williams does not show up. I think he gets outplayed by Penix. I think 76 is way too big of a number. I think it's going to be an under game. I think Washington's going to put up. Really?
It's going over, and let me tell
offense.
you, USC's defense is so fucking bad. Penix is about to pick this USC defense the fuck apart. I don't mean to cut you off, but I've been so excited about this game because earlier in the year, it was Heisman candidates. USC's defense has failed them time and time again. Caleb Williams has shown himself to be
a fraud-ish
in these bigger games.
Round pick at best.
So, chill the fuck out. He's still going to be the number 1 quarterback off the board. He's probably going to be a Bear. With that being said, though,
on me, Ricky.
give me Penix and the boys. I don't care if it's at USC or not. Give me Penix and the boys -3, and I am hammering this thing. I fucking love this at -3.
Oh, so do I. Don't get me wrong.
But dude, I'm telling you, do not place your money on the under. We need this to be a shootout, just for the pure entertainment value of it. I don't think Washington's defense is good enough. Caleb Williams is going to have to come out and show a little bit of fight in life. But their defense is just going to get tatted up this game. I think it's going to be high flying.
All right.
It is a very large number, though. It's a very large
huge number. I am with you now. Now that you say that, it's going to go over.
Hell yeah.
Because I like good football. I like good football.
Yeah,
Clark, I saw
football.
You pumped up with me. Clark, you with me in the Huskies?
I'm right there with you. This is still Pac-12 football, and there's going to be points put up. Washington's defense, what was it ranked like 30?
Washington's defense is 34th in points, but 99th in yards. Their bend don't break. I think Caleb Williams and USC will break them though. I think USC is going to win and cover. Don't get me wrong.
You mean Washington's going to win and cover?
Washington.
Yeah, Washington's going to win and cover.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but this USC team can get into the end zone. They can, especially against not great defenses. The Husky defense has been, I hesitate to say stout because they give up a lot of yards, but you get them in the red zone and they grow the biggest backbone that's ever been grown on the face of the planet, and they don't let you score. They also force a lot of turnovers.
So, Clark,
way over. Go into the books, go to alt totals, pick the biggest number they will give you. If it goes to 100, take it. 120 is where I might start rearing it back a little bit, but I'd still probably take it. Dude, seriously, that would be 130, and it wouldn't surprise me. This game's gonna have so many points. At least I hope, because otherwise it's gonna be boring.
Parker, make a pick here, pal. You with us in the Huskies?
Give me the Huskies, baby. Michael Penix
yeah,
is going to make this USC defense look atrocious.
This is Penix's Heisman signature. He wins it after they win this game.
He's dotting the I
they
in
will
Penix
go-
with this game.
And they will go straight into they'll probably be number 4 after this win. But it's going to be a good win.
Yeah. Ethan, you riding with us?
Obviously, I'm riding with you guys.
Hell yeah.
This Washington team they're ranked number 5. They will be assuming that they win out, they will be in a college football playoff this year.
I agree.
And
there's such an exciting
agree.
because you cannot keep both Big Ten teams that are in there right now, like Ohio State and or Michigan. One of those two will not be in the top 4 in 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, whoever loses that game will be out.
One will lose the head-to-head matchup, and then the other one ends up in the Big Ten championship, wins, and then the other one's Cinderella. She's 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree. And Washington played so well. Penix Jr. specifically played so well against Oregon. You have to continue to go with them. So
hell yeah.
I'm gonna hammer Washington -3. I might put like 5 units on it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. What an amazing game that's gonna be. Let's go to a game.
You gotta play a Portnoy unit. A Portnoy unit, which is 25 grand.
No thanks.
Go take out a loan. Let's go to a game that in the past has been a really exciting one. This year, I mean, it's a top 15 matchup, but maybe not as exciting to watch as other years. 13 LSU going into Bama. It's a 3-point spread. Tyler, where are you looking at on this, bud?
Okay, this game has the potential to be game of the week over Washington USC if USC doesn't show. LSU and Bama, they play each other super tough. This is a battle for the SEC West. Winner of this game is going to go and face Georgia in the SEC championship game. So both these guys are going to be live. We've already seen Bama lose once at home. We called LSU frauds at the beginning of this year. LSU has come storming back, though. Daniels at quarterback is actually making a legit Heisman run, but he's been overshadowed because of a blowout loss. But if you look at this kid's numbers, he has over 30 touchdown passes, over 3,000 passing yards, a really good touchdown to interception ratio. He is slinging the ball around. This is going to come down to, does Bama kill themselves with penalties? And can, goddamn, quarterback's name?
Milton.
No, that's
Milroe.
Milroe.
Can Milroe step up? Because he didn't against Texas. This is the time where he has to say, we're still here, and if Bama wants to think that they can make it into the playoffs, they have to win this game. They have to beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. If Bama loses this game, with game day there, by the way, for the second time this year, game day will be there again. If they lose this game day. Yeah, if they lose again at home, they're out. No ifs and buts about it. That being said, I'm gonna you gotta just go with your show ponies. I'm going with Nick Saban at home because if you've done this your entire career of betting and just bet on Nick Saban at home, you've made a lot of money. I don't really know about this game, but I think it's going to be fireworks. The only way I see Bama losing is if they are penalized like no other. Both these teams coming off a bye week, though. Plenty of time to prepare for both sides here. Going to be an awesome game. I'm really upset I have to drive up to Birmingham during this game getting over. It is going to be hectic as hell getting out of that Tuscaloosa area. But I'm going to go Bama -3, but I probably am not touching it. Just saying.
I'll go next. I'm going to agree with everything you just said, and I'm going to give you a total pick as well. I'm taking Alabama -3, and I disagree. I disagree with you, Josh. I am taking the over on this game. I think this game, what the total was at, 61 and a half. I like the over. Both teams can put up 30 points. We know that. And I think it's gonna be a great game. Feel bad that you have to drive during this game, but give me Alabama and give me the over.
Clark, I'm against you for a second. I think both you and Ty, I'm against you. I don't think that this is going to be a good game. I think Bama's going to kick the ever living shit out of LSU. If this was not at home, I think if it was at LSU, I think the -3 is a good spread. LSU, to me, every time I watch them, they suck. And I'm going to watch this game, and they're going to suck again. So I'm hammering Bama -3. To me, it's not a question. I think Bama's going to kick the ever living shit out of LSU.
I'm right there with you. I don't think LSU is a good football team. They are frauds. I've said it all year. They cost us big week 1. Ty, that was brutal.
Huge week 1.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I'm a -3 isn't a question. I think the over is also too high. I think it's too high. I think LSU isn't going to show up, so I'm going to go under.
Cole, I love that fucking under.
Yeah, I'm with you, Cole. I like the
love
under.
Yeah,
The under looks tasty.
The thing with this Bama team is, they're not impressive. We've said it all year. They're not the Bama of old. They're not high flying and shutting everyone down on defense. When they do show up on defense, though, when they play a really good offense. Now, I'm not saying I think this game can go under even if Bama loses this football game somehow. Bama's just good at grabbing good offenses by the throat and dragging them down. They held Ole Miss to 10 points, and Ole Miss is like a top 10 offense this year. They held, they gave up 34 to Texas. Yeah, you'll have that. But I'm on Bama -3 with you and with Cole and Tyler, but I'm also on the under with Cole.
So we're all riding Bama here. Is that what it
Yes.
sounds
Yeah.
like?
Sounds
Yes.
like
Yeah.
Just
I
a
think-
little point to what we were saying about the penalties. LSU is penalized number 60th in the nation. They've had 47 penalties this season. Bama's at a tie for 74th. And they've had 49 over the 8 games. So these two are actually getting penalized damn near the same. I just know being around all these Alabama fans living in Southern Alabama right now, and from watching their games, they do get penalized a lot. So we could see it either stalling these offenses out, or if the defenses are getting blown by and getting a bunch of pass interferences, we could see the score go crazy. So I'm glad to see we're all on the same side with Bama, but I'm really that total. I will probably definitely be staying away from it just because I could see this going either way. Who wants to lead us into the next one?
One thing with the total is LSU is 8-0 on their totals this year. So if that sways you one way or the other, maybe.
I think Bama's
that's-
also hit a lot of overs in their games.
Hang on, I have it. Give me a second. I gotta reopen that note. Bama is 5-2-1 on overs.
So they're both over teams.
They're both over teams. I don't know. I just got a feeling like it's not going over this week. Just a vibe.
Parker, let's lead us into might be your and Josh's favorite team of the year, your little Cinderella. Number 20 UCLA heading into Arizona. Arizona is 2.5-point dogs at home.
Puppies.
Let's see here. I love it. I like Arizona, right? This is gonna be a good game. This UCLA team is showing they are gonna be a tough team. I think they kind of found their stride here lately. I don't know, bro.
They really found it with Fafita at quarterback.
Yeah, Arizona. I've watched them too many times now, and they just kind of there's something about them that I just like. They got that chip in them. Give me Arizona plus 2.5.
Yeah, man. Arizona's 4-0 with Fafita being the primary signal caller. I mean, they covered against this Washington team. That was a 20-point line, and they lost by 7, man. They kept it close against who I think a lot of us think are a top 4 team in this country right now.
Yeah.
And I said it in our pre-call. I kind of shot called a little bit. I think Fafita is a Heisman candidate in 2 years. I really do. I think maybe he doesn't win, but maybe he's top 5 or something like that. Zona's also 7-1 just all year ATS, even with the other guy that they had in there at quarterback. Both of these teams are under teams. UCLA's defense, electric. Top 10 defense. 8th in points at 15th and 10th in yards at 277.5. The totals of 51.5. I love that under. And then, like I said already, Zona plus 2.5. UCLA's only 2 outright losses are to teams with top 50 defenses, which Zona has. Arizona is 38th in points and 43rd in yards.
So it sounds like you're going with Arizona?
Yeah, baby. Give me Fafita.
This is, I think, kind of the new Kool-Aid team. It was Colorado to start the year. However, I'm going to sip it with you guys. I'm going to go with Arizona. I think they got a better win last week than UCLA is coming in this week. So let's ride some of that late night magic with Arizona. Ethan, where are you at here?
This is a tough game because it's one of those, like, I want to go with you guys with Arizona at plus 2.5, but at the same time, I want to see a Big Ten team next year, UCLA, win and take that spread as well. I don't know if I lean either way on the betting side of things. Honestly, it's one of those games I'll probably ignore and not put money on. So I think I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll let you guys kind of take over on this one.
Clark, what do you think on the total here? Also on the game, but I want your
I think
total.
Cole. I think Cole goes next because it depends on what his pick is where I go with this.
It better be a fucking team ride because I'm also saying Arizona. I think Arizona is going to drop their fucking pants and fuck UCLA until they can't walk.
Okay,
That would be awesome.
That gives me my pick. I hate to say it, but we are not squad riding.
You're
And
gonna
that is for a
solo
valid.
dolo
That is
and
for
ruin it.
this is for a valid reason because every time that I have bet against Arizona, they have shown up for you guys, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to bet against them,
What a
and hopefully
soldier.
they show up for you guys.
Taking
I'm
one for the
taking
team, dog.
UCLA
What a guy.
minus 2.5.
What a guy.
I'm also taking the under, but I'm only doing this for the boys because I want them to make money. And if I
Also
bet on
on the
Arizona,
This game's going so far under, it's not even funny.
yeah, it's going under. And UCLA minus 2.5, just so the betting gods can hear me say it.
All right.
We got 2 more college games.
Yeah, I think that's gonna bring us to Texas A&M and Ole Miss. Ole Miss ranked number 10. They're 3-point favorites at home. I think I'm speaking for everybody here when we say Ole Miss minus 3 on a squad
Ole
ride.
Miss is a top 10 team this year. They're electric to watch. What's that kid's name? Is it Dart or do I have the wrong
Jackson
school?
Dart.
Yeah, Jackson Dart.
Yeah, Dart. Dart's a fun kid to watch play football. He's good at slinging the rock. They're 6-2 ATS. They are 3-5 on totals though, but I'm not touching the total here. Just Ole Miss minus 3.
I got really the other week and bet Ole Miss to cover the spread, and they won for me, so I'm just going to keep riding that train.
Yeah, Ole Miss at home, minus 3. That's an easy bet to me. If that was at Texas A&M, it's no way game. They got to cover some points. I get it, but Ole Miss is rowdy. They want to win by a lot. It's not going to be a 3-point game.
A 7-1 Ole Miss team too. They're not dead. They are not technically dead. They need a lot of help. LSU upsetting Bama this week would really help them because in order to get in, they're going to have to win the SEC, which means they get to the championship game, and Bama has that tiebreaker as the head-to-head victor of that game. So after this week, Ole Miss may be dead, but this week they're still alive and they know they have to win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one to watch, actually, but I think Ole Miss handles business there. Let's get into our last game of the slate. Number 11, Oklahoma, coming off of a devastating loss. Oklahoma was college football playoff hopefuls. A lot of people thought they had a case for it. We talked last week. They about lost to UCF at home. They carried that hangover into Kansas last week. You guys were actually really big on Kansas last week on the pod, so shout out to you guys who did go ahead and pick them at home to cover the spread. I don't think anybody took them money line, but we were definitely aware that that upset could be looming, and it did come true. However, we have battle at Bedlam this week. So Oklahoma State 5.5 point home puppies against a Oklahoma team who just got their heart broken. Clark,
Them Cowboys are playing upset, baby.
Mm-hmm.
so you
I'm
think
taking-
Oklahoma goes down 2 weeks in a row?
I think Oklahoma goes down 2 weeks in a row. I think Oklahoma State, I think they can win by a field goal. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. And I think this game's going to be tight all the way through because Oklahoma State's kept it fairly close in their losses. And I think they do that with Oklahoma here in their rivalry. Maybe even beat them outright.
All righty, Cole.
I do think Oklahoma does beat OK State outright. I don't think they cover though. I think this is going to be a close game. Like Clark said, it's so hard to tell because you don't know what Oklahoma team is going to show up. The past 2 weeks they haven't, but the beginning of the season they were up, they were good, they were fine, and you never know who's going to show up. So I'm taking OK State plus 5.5, purely based off of Oklahoma's willingness to show up.
Cool. I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that. I think you make a great take there. I think the same way that just Oklahoma hasn't looked good these past few weeks. If I lose on this one because Oklahoma looks good, then so be it. I think they win, but I do like Oklahoma State to cover.
You guys know I've been the biggest Oklahoma writer on the show all season long. The last 2 weeks they've let me down. However, I'm just going to keep going back to them. You find a good team, you ride with them, you go with the ebbs and flows of the season. I'm going to say Oklahoma in a bounce back spot here covers. Again, losing to an unranked Kansas team, I think pretty much puts you dead for the college football playoffs. So they're really just fighting for pride here at this point. Look for Dylan Gabriel to have a big game, maybe Stoops to show up in a big moment as well. So I will take Oklahoma minus the 5.5. Josh?
Yeah, man. I mean, 2 weeks ago, this Oklahoma team was 6-0 ATS. They were kind of the darlings. They were rising every week in the polls, trying to weasel their way into that top four, which it's just outrageous that that's still 4 teams and we have to cut down all these good teams every week. But
It'll move.
Yeah, it moves. I know. Anyhow, since then they're 0-2 ATS. They're now 6-2 ATS. They're a wounded puppy. They got a broken leg. It's not pretty to watch, man. I don't know what's going on with them. I do like them to bounce back here. I mean, they are just the vastly superior team, and I understand it's Bedlam. I understand it's a rivalry game, and OK State's going to get up for this game. If I look like a fool, I look like a fool. But I'm gonna stick with Oklahoma on this one.
I'm kind of in the same boat as you.
It's not like
I don't hate it.
No, it's like my solo ride earlier. No one's gonna think I'm stupid for taking Oklahoma here. There's obviously the better team, but if they lose here or don't cover, everyone's like, well, what do you look at the trend, dumb fuck?
Yeah. Ethan?
It's tough because, like you guys said, you don't know which Oklahoma team is going to show up. And it's at Oklahoma State, which makes it even more difficult of a pick. I think I'm still going to ride with the ranked team, though. Give me Oklahoma minus 5.5.
All right, we're split down the
That's
middle
fair.
again with one.
My big thing is if this is in Oklahoma, it's probably like a 9 to 10 point spread.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously they play the 3-point game, with a home and away, so that would put you at 8.5. But I feel like they'd probably bump it to 9.5 if this was in Oklahoma. But yeah, you guys know what happened this week? The first official CFP rankings came out, and your Air Force Falcons, well, they were 25th. a little bit of a slight to the Falcons. But your top 4 as it stands is Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, and Florida State. Your first 2 out are our doggies, Washington, and then the Duckies of Oregon.
I think it's so
I,
wrong.
I don't like it. I got my own personal ranking is Ohio State based off strength of schedule and who they've played. And then I put Georgia. I didn't like it, because but they've had 2 good wins now, but their strength of schedule still is really bad. My number 3 is Washington. We've been with them all year. That really shouldn't surprise you. And then I kept FSU at 4. First team on the out is Michigan because they are undefeated and they are a Big Ten school. And then the Duckies at 6. Clark, I know you kind of took a look at this too. What did you come up with?
I don't have anything written down. I'm just kind of looking at it or what we've got in front of me, and I'm going to agree with you. I think Ohio State's the number 1 right now, but I'm going to change it up here a little bit. I think I'm going to pop FSU in at 2, Georgia at 3, move
Ooh.
Washington to 4,
I like that.
and then I'm going to have Michigan 5, Texas 6. And Oregon's popped out of there. I think what team did I pop out of there? I don't remember.
You popped Oregon out and Texas in.
Yeah, yep. I popped
And I
Oregon
get
out.
that. I get where the committee's coming from with Georgia and Michigan in the top 4 because they haven't lost yet. I just don't like putting them there because of their strength of schedule. I mean, Georgia you have to put in out of respect, but Michigan you don't. They lost to that TCU squad that got fucking obliterated in the championship last year. Tyler, have you put any thought here?
Yeah, my top 4, and I don't like putting Ohio State at 1, but just based off strength of schedule, you have to. Nobody else in the top 4 personally has played that hard of a schedule. Georgia's going to get in because they're Georgia, even if they lose to Bama, unless, well, it can't be unless because either Ohio State or Michigan's going to lose. So right now I have mine as Ohio State, and then I'm going to go ahead and say Washington wins this week handedly, like just outright dominates.
And they're in.
And I'm putting them at number 2 because they've, again, played a harder schedule than Georgia.
They played a gauntlet.
Yes. And the Pac-12 this entire season is a gauntlet. And I think they're going to come out as the champions of it. However, I'm going to go ahead and say it's Ohio State, Washington at number 2 after they win this week. Currently, it's Georgia. I'm going to have Washington at number 3 right now until they win this week. So Ohio State, Georgia, Washington. My number 4, you got to respect Florida State because they are undefeated. However, they've had a tougher schedule than Georgia and Michigan. I don't really love it. I would much rather see this Oregon team in there than Florida State. However, my prediction for the end of the year is Ohio State beats Michigan. Michigan is out of the playoffs for the year. It's Ohio State, Georgia, Washington, and Florida State. The only reason Washington doesn't get in is if they would lose to Oregon in the Big Ten or the Pac-12 championship game. Then you got to say which one-loss team do you want in more? Michigan, Florida, or Michigan, Washington, or Oregon. And I think Oregon would win it off strength of schedule again with that big win at Utah. So that's my prediction for the end of the year. But right now, Ohio State, Georgia, Washington, Michigan over Florida State.
Parker, Cole, Ethan, have any of you put any thought into this?
Yeah.
I actually thought you nailed it, Josh. Your top 4 were my top 4 as well.
And that's just my top 4 as of right now.
Yeah.
Everything changes. Everything's fluid.
Yeah, I definitely think I can make a better end of the year one. Because I do think I think Michigan beats Ohio State. Personally, I think Michigan's got a good team. I think Ohio State gets bumped out, and they move to 5 at the end of the year. But if we're talking right now, Ohio State, Georgia. I like Florida State at 3 and Washington at 4 and Michigan at 5 right now. But I do think Florida State could take that 1 or 2 spot by the end of the year.
Who does Florida? Let me look up Florida State's rest of their schedule.
Well, we're just saying this week, man. We're not saying.
Fuck.
Yeah, we're just
we're gonna
the rest of the rest of their schedule is Miami and Florida. That's it.
I mean,
Home against Miami, at Florida.
Oh, okay. Well, that kind of changes my thought. I'm going to keep Ohio State at 1 just because of schedule, like everyone else. I think Washington is 2. I do think Washington is the number 2 team. Georgia sits at 3. And honestly, I don't think Florida State is a better football team than Oregon. I think I put Oregon at 4.
I get that. I feel the same way. But unless Florida State loses, you can't put Oregon in. And that's my issue. I think Oregon is going to end up being the best. Unless Washington loses, then it's Washington. But if Washington wins out, I think Oregon becomes the best one-loss team in the country this year. And then it's between them and whoever ends up 4 at 4. And honestly, I'd probably give it to Oregon just because of how good the Pac-12 was this year. But they won't. Yeah. That's the issue. The committee won't.
Well, the one thing is that Washington beat Oregon. So,
but there's a chance
if they're both sitting at 1 loss, how could you give it to Oregon when Oregon's loss did come from Washington?
But if Washington loses, it's going to be in the championship game against Oregon. So they're both going to have 1 loss that's head-to-head.
That's fair. Fair.
I still think Oregon has another loss in their schedule even. I still think they've got Oregon State and USC still. And I think they can lose one of those games very easily.
I agree with him, actually. The Pac-12's a gauntlet. And there's a sad chance we don't get to see Oregon or Washington because let's say, all right, you kick one of them out, because how do you pick one of them over the other? I mean, if they face each other in the Pac-12 championship and let's say Oregon gets that win over Washington, now they each have a head-to-head win over the other one. Oregon's would be the most recent. You can't really kick out then, but actually then it's a battle of who's the best one-loss team, Michigan or Ohio State, whoever loses that game. Oregon or Washington are vying for that 4 spot. But there's a chance
you also got Bama in there too in their pedigree. I don't think any of us would put them in, but the committee might. That's the thing with the committee.
If they beat Georgia, I'm just saying it now. If they beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, and that is relying on them beating LSU this week, if they beat Georgia and they are the SEC champion, I think you got to take Bama over all of them. Even though I'm not going to like it, but I think that's what the committee will do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and the rest of Washington's schedule is so hard. They have USC this week, which isn't a freebie, as much as we all want it to be. Utah next week, then Oregon State and Wazoo to finish out. Man, that Pac-12 is so good this year.
It's a gauntlet.
That's what I'm saying. If it comes down to that and strength of schedule, I think Washington gets in before a 1-loss Ohio State and Michigan team.
Yes. If Washington runs the table, they're in for sure. You can't.
They may be number 1. They may be number 1 if they run it.
But let's get into our NFL.
Well, before we go there, guys, we gotta get the ad read in. This episode of Show Me the Money is brought to you by Tavern Sports, your place for good, fun sports content, sportsbook lines and parlays, and of course, food reviews with Big E's Ballpark Bites. You can follow Tavern Sports on Instagram at Tavern Sports 2023, TikTok at tavern.sports, and Twitter at Tavern Sports 23. Let's get into some NFL talk.
And now,
I'm sorry, I forgot about this. Yeah, exciting news.
I didn't think to put it in the rundown, but exciting news. I officially have the Tavern Sports store open. Right now, there are only 2 products. It's the Comfort Colors pocket T-shirts, which are, as these guys can tell you, they are
Tyler's got
awesome.
his on this week.
Yeah, Ty's got his on.
Big guy approved, by the way. I'm not a little guy.
Bend it over, baby.
And it fits really well on up to 2X, guys. That's all we got is 2X, but it fits good.
I wore this out to the bar. I wore this out to the bar in Auburn, and it got complimented a lot. It looks really good. It's super comfy. So I would say get you one, guys. It is definitely worth the price. It makes you look good. I'm a bigger guy myself. You look good in it. You feel good in it. So pick one up.
That
I
website
got
is
I got a lot of compliments at work too. I wore mine to work, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's
Yeah.
super cool." It's got a nice logo. If you guys look at our any of our socials, we got our logo on there. It's a tight logo.
It
Yeah,
really
I've
is.
also
I was really proud of the way it turned out. If you want to buy one of these T-shirts, you can go to tavern-sports.square.site. If that is a little bit too difficult to get to or type in, feel free to go to any of our social medias, click the link in the link tree, and it should be the number one thing you see at the top. It's going to tell you Tavern Sports Shop. We have those T-shirts available, and hopefully we have them in your size, as well as stickers. Every order that you have will come with a free sticker. You also have the option of free shipping right now. If you use code FINALLY, then you get free shipping on your product. If you use the code, if you are local to the Davenport area, feel free to use the code DIRTYD, and you get free delivery from yours truly.
One more thing about the
We have
shirts.
promo codes.
I'm not a breast pocket guy. I hate having breast pockets on my shirt. I couldn't even tell that one was sitting there, honestly. That's
Is
my
that
big
because
issue
you
with
have
them.
breasts?
Yes, I have breastises.
it's there
Me
for your
too, brother. I'm a
chapstick.
double D.
The Frocket, baby.
It's there for your chapstick in these cold winter months. Perfect spot to throw a little chapstick in there. Beautiful.
Well,
Let's
let's
get
get
us
into
into
some
the
NFL
NFL.
talk. It was the trade deadline last week, boys, and the Bears made a move.
It's
For the
about
wrong
fucking
guy.
time.
You think for the
False.
wrong guy, really?
False.
I
I
disagree. I think it was the right
think
guy.
I still think it's a great move. I think it's a great move on your part. But the 49ers got Chase Young for
Let's highlight the trade first. The Bears sent a second round pick, which is currently projected to be the 35th overall pick, to the Washington Commies for a 27-year-old defensive end by the name of Montez Sweat. You ain't heard about him. You must be under a rock. The guy's a game wrecker.
He's a dog.
Yeah, great in the run
Very
game,
good.
amazing in the pass game. I mean, he's played 59 games in his career. He's averaging over 1 QB hit per game, man.
I also don't
No.
think he has missed a start since he started.
He did. He missed 6 games a couple years ago. He got punched in the fucking jaw and broke his jaw. He was only going to miss a few games, but then his brother was tragically killed to gun violence, and he stepped away from the team for the remainder of the year.
T's and P's.
Guy I go to school with now was an athletic trainer at Mississippi State. Knows Montez Sweat. One of his other trainers went and worked at the Commanders, right? Montez Sweat was a great dude in the building. Went around saying bye to everybody. Was actually devastated to be leaving. It seems like he really is a good locker room guy, a good building guy. So I'm excited to see what he can do in the building. This isn't as much of a trade as I think it is a preemptive free agency signing. The Bears wanted to go after him in free agency. We have $110 million in cap space. He is going to require an extension, and so far we haven't shown that we're going to extend guys on defense. However, they sent away a high pick to get this guy in the building. I think they're going to pay him whatever the hell he wants to make sure that that pick doesn't just go to waste on a loaner on a throwaway year.
Here's the thing with the contract, too. The Bears still have leftover cap from this year, and the NFL cap is weird. Every 3 years, you have to spend so much. I think it's like 97% average or something like that. So the Bears actually have to go over the cap this year. I don't know the exact number, but one way they can do it.
High.
Yeah, one way they can do it still is signing bonus. So, yes, Montez is going to demand $22 to $25 million a year. You know, he's 27. Lock him up for 4 years. You get him through that dirty 30 year and then reevaluate there. Give him a 4-year, $100 million. Make $42 million of it signing bonus because you got to get that money gone. It can't sit there. And then do right by Jalen Johnson, by God. What the fuck are we doing?
They
He's
will.
gonna be-
They're going to
Question.
franchise him.
He's going to be the best cornerback on the market this year by a country mile.
What's up, Parky?
Because you guys follow the Bears a little bit more, know more about them. We extended Andrew Billings. Is that
great sign?
Yeah,
is it
he's
okay?
been
I was
good
gonna
at
say
plugging the run this year. He's been one of the few bright spots on that defensive line this year.
With him and Montez hand in hand, they're gonna be a fucking problem.
Well, and I think Montez is gonna help Yannick finally start doing something too, because now you don't just have to double Yannick every play. I mean, Yannick's had good years other places. Hopefully he can get it figured out. Let's go back to what Clark was saying, though. He thought we got the wrong guy. He's talking about Chase Young. He was traded for a compensatory third-round pick to the 49ers. One thing that Tyler mentioned was how good of a locker room guy Montez Sweat is. Chase Young, by all accounts, is the exact opposite. He sounds like a locker room cancer from what I've heard. When, there was trade talk earlier in the week, and both these guys were asked by the Commanders, media room their thoughts, and Montez was kind of bummed, man. Like Tyler said, he didn't want to go anywhere. He likes being in Washington. Hopefully he enjoys Chicago. Chase, his response, I don't have the quote, but it was paraphrased as, "I don't care." He doesn't care. And he's from what I've heard, he's a pretty negative guy in the locker room. He's got a big head on his shoulders because he came out pretty hyped up coming out of college as the number 2 overall pick out of Ohio State. He's had injury concerns. I mean, he destroyed his knee. It took him 22 games to come back from blowing up his knee. It was an ACL tear. And Tyler, you're the OT student here. What's the other ligaments in the knee? Not the MCL. Is it like
PCL.
the patella?
PCL or meniscus?
Yeah. It must have been the PCL then. He messed that up real bad too.
Yeah, I mean, he's showed he's had some injuries and whatnot. I think actually he's getting a better fit in San Francisco. He's going to go back with Bosa on the other side, another Ohio State guy. We got a guy to help shore up the run, do a little pass rushing, but this year isn't really what we're vying for. We're really getting him in for next year and just doing it preemptively. So I'm happy to see that we went out and did something and didn't get rid of Johnson. I hope they do right by Johnson and just pay him because he is a great coverage guy. Speaking of the Bears, we're going down
Johnson thing. Hang on. The whole Johnson thing was he got frustrated. The Bears want him. Poles came out and stated 2 or 3 times in his press conference yesterday how important it is to him to get a deal done with Johnson.
It was also his camp that requested the trade. It was not him. He was given permission from his camp.
Yeah, basically Poole said, okay, go ahead to appease the camp. But if you look at what they were looking for a late first, early second. As much as I like Jalen, I don't think anybody was going to give it to him, sadly. I think he's worth it, though. I'd pay him. I think he's,
They'll franchise tag him. That's all
top
they're
20
gonna
corner
do.
in the league. So
Clark, what do you got?
Here's what I gotta say real quick. I don't think it was the wrong move to get Montez. But if you're going to get Montez, you're going to need a hell of a lot more than Montez. You're going to need Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy coming in at OC or head coach is the move. I think he can make Justin Fields a quarterback.
They're going to fire
and that's the guy you. That's
Absolutely.
the guy you really need.
I don't think they are going to fire him, man. Poles came out and defended, because he was asked about Eberflus too in his press conference. And it wasn't everything's fine here, because you can read through that. If he gave a 1-sentence answer, everybody be like, oh, okay, there's something going on. He adamantly defended Eberflus. He is such a big fan of Eberflus, and I'm not happy about it. Because if you want a defensive guy, who's a free agent coach out there? Lovie Smith. The last time the Bears were good? Lovie Smith, man.
Let's get into our picks for this week, and we can start with the Bears. They're traveling down to New Orleans. New Orleans, 7.5-point favorites. To me, this game's going under. I don't think
8.5.
It's 8.5 now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that being said, not a great football number. Bajent's in. I think this is going under. I don't want to touch it on the spread. Where are you guys at?
I'm not betting on this garbage.
No, I mean I'm not gonna. I could sprinkle something, but I could
I'm not
sprinkle
betting
a
Chicago anymore.
DJ touchdown or Deontay.
Deontay Ford.
Roshan's back this week though.
It doesn't matter.
All right. So it sounds like we're all kind of staying away from this game. So let's go ahead and move over to
Saints, 8.5.
Dolphins and Chiefs in London. This or I thought this was Germany.
Germany.
Is it?
It's in Germany.
Germany.
It's
I was gonna
Germany.
say. So
Sorry.
Mike
Chiefs,
fucking.
Chiefs are 2-point favorites. Neutral site, clearly. I don't know the travel arrangements of either of these teams and when they went out there, when they didn't go out there.
Tuesday.
So I'm going to say this is going to be a good game, but I'm going to go ahead and just take the Dolphins and the points. The Chiefs offense really actually hasn't sparked me with their wide receiver play. Contain Kelsey like the Broncos did, and you should be fine. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins here. Where are you guys at?
I'm
taking-
going to go with the Dolphins. It is a low week because Taylor Swift
Taylor's
is not
going to be there.
so
I was about to say the
Travis
same thing.
is not going to have a great week. Give me the Dolphins plus 1.5.
I have to disagree with you guys. I'm taking the Chiefs minus 1.5, whatever it's at, and I'm taking the under.
Nice.
You're taking the under in that?
I am taking the under in that. It's a long flight over there, buddy.
15.5's a
They
big
did
number.
go on Tuesday.
I could care less. It's still going under.
Yeah, the Chiefs last week not scoring a single touchdown is kind of scary.
Taylor was not at that game either.
Yeah, but this Miami offense is really good. I mean, they've shown that they can play some football. I don't know. I think it's going to be a close game. What is the total?
15.5.
15.5.
15.5. I actually like the under with you, Clark. I think I would like to say the Chiefs take this, but I think if it's going to be an under game and close, I think Miami takes it. So I'm going to go with Miami.
I originally I think was leaning toward Miami. All the experts are betting on Kansas City though. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I stay
1%.
Yeah, maybe I stay away from that. However, I disagree with the under. I actually really like the over. I think both of these teams scoring 25 points is doable. And I get that that's 50 points total, but I think both of these teams are scoring more like 30 points.
Yeah, it'll be a 60, 65 point game easily.
Let's talk America game of the week. Cowboys in Philly. Philly's laying 3 at home. Anybody got any thoughts here? I mean, it should be a good one.
You be fucking Eagles by 3. Fuck America's team.
Cowboys are. I don't love the Cowboys at all. I'm going with the Eagles strictly off
They're
of that.
dead.
It is going to be a good game though. It's a divisional game. It's always good. Give me the Eagles minus 3.
Yeah, I'm on Philly. Last year Dallas cost me like a 4 or 5 leg parlay to win a bunch of money. I've still not forgiven them.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Philly minus 3. Give me also an AJ Brown touchdown. That man's just playing electric football for them right now.
Number 2 receiver.
Let's
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's
go
hit Bills Bengals as the last game here, boys. Bills in Cincy. Bengals laying 2.5 at home. DeMar Hamlin revenge game.
Oh boy.
The Bengals are hot right now.
Yeah, the
The
Bengals
Bills
are,
are
back,
the
man.
hotter
I told
team.
y'all.
Cincinnati is
I-
awake. They're awake finally.
Oh, I'm sorry. This
Yeah.
line move. It's 1.5 now. It's almost down to a pick 'em.
I'm gonna just say DeMar
I'm
Hamlin
gonna-
has the chance to do the funniest thing ever.
It'll
Anyway,
be fucking
Oh
hilarious.
my goodness.
I'm going.
I will say Joe Burrow he's been due for so fucking long. Shout out Cincinnati. Shout out my boy Seth Bittner, new listener as of this week. It's gonna be fucking great. This is gonna be a great game. I think Cincinnati takes it at 1.5 easily all day.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Josh
Yep.
Allen is also hurt.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm gonna go with Bengals here. All right. NHL really quickly. Bruins still technically undefeated, have an overtime loss. They them and the Vegas Golden Knights are rolling still this year. Bruins are currently, while we're recording, in a tight one, tied 2-2 in the third period with the Maple Leafs. Blackhawks and Bedard. It's been really fun to see Bedard go off. He's minus 150 to win Rookie of the Year so far this year. However, the Blackhawks are still last in the division. With that being said, the last time the Blackhawks went on a run, they went and hit 3 straight draft picks in 3 straight years to set up quite possibly the greatest hockey team of all time. So it's going to take some time. You can't just have one guy completely flip the switch for a team in hockey. Josh, you said you had some shot on goal parlay or props you liked.
Yeah, I only looked at guys that are averaging 4 or more shots on goal this year so far. Bo Horvat of the New York Islanders is averaging 4.1 shots on goal. His line for tonight at least was 2.5. I feel like they probably aren't moving that line too much. Maybe they get smart and bump it up to 3.5 where it probably should be. Check that every night. If it's 2.5, I would take it. Jack Eichel of the Las Vegas Golden Knights is averaging 4.5 shots on goal this year, and his line set at 3.5. So he's averaging 1 more than what they're laying. I like that one too. There's 7 other guys that are averaging either 0.6 or 0.9 shots on goal over the lines that the books are giving out. Again, I only check guys that are averaging 4 or more shots on goal a game. Look at them. There's good lines out there. I'm sure there's guys that are averaging like 2 shots that they're, giving you half a goal or half a shot odds on. So just check them out. Let's get to the locks and get this wrapped up, guys. We're going pretty long.
Yeah. Cole, start us off this week.
Come back to me. We're cooking up something sexy.
Oh my goodness. Clark, where are you at? Josh? All right, go ahead.
I mean, we all know where I'm going. It's no secret. It's Air Force. It's a neutral sided game against Army, troop game. We love troop games. Troop games go under traditionally. The line is 32.5. Pick your poison. Air Force tends to start slow. Line 17.5. Air Force always covers. Give me Air Force. Put them into the playoffs.
So Air Force minus 17.5.
Yeah, dude, this Army team's awful. They're
so bad.
I didn't do notes. They're like 118th or something like that in rush defense.
God, that is a lot. But all right, they haven't failed you yet. So, Parker, you said you were ready.
Yeah.
Let's
give
hear
me
it.
Washington minus 3.
Good pick.
Oh yeah, I like it. Clark, where you at?
Give me Notre Dame minus 3.
Getting some name brand teams in here this week. All right, I like it.
And Air
Ethan?
Force.
Fuck LSU. Give me Bama minus 3.
Woo-wee!
Wow,
All right.
that wasn't Iowa. Ethan, are you okay?
Cole?
The line's so high.
Oh boy.
Don't you dare bet
Carolina?
UNC. Don't you dare bet UNC.
Or do
No,
you
he said
UNC? They're playing.
No. We're
taking
going with Michigan minus 32.5 against Purdue.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Okay, to be fair, Purdue did lose to Nebraska last week. So
Purdue is 2-6.
Cole, you're a disgusting monster.
You almost played football.
That's so many points.
I did. Walk on.
forget
Robert.
about that. I
You're
forget
out of
about that
time.
every
No more
time.
stalling.
Nope, I've been ready this entire time. So this is bad for me. I usually go the other way here. Penn State, Maryland. Penn State's minus 8.5 against Maryland. For whatever reason, Maryland hasn't been the pay pig of they were at the start of the season. So I think I'm going to rock with Penn State minus 8.5 here.
I almost picked that because Penn State's been my team.
Yeah, Penn State, I don't know. It's in Maryland. It's a Big Ten game, but Maryland hasn't looked great the last few weeks, so I'm rocking with Penn State. Not my most favorite lock of the week I've ever given out. I about went back-to-back Nebraskas on you guys, but I figured I'd get beheaded at the square if I did. Cole?
I'm reconsidering my pick.
Oh boy.
Oh God, this guy stinks.
Depends
Give me
what it is.
Ohio State. I'm sorry, Tyler. They've been your pig all year. Give me Ohio State minus 18.5 against Rutgers. I like that line a lot better.
Be careful for those Scarlet Knights.
32.5 points.
It's a respectable line. Ohio State.
It's a better game.
They should come out and handle business. You're right. However, watch out for them Golden Knights. They could bite you.
All right,
If
Tyler.
that ruins the pod parlay, I swear.
Here we go.
You
Ty-
were hot there for a little while, and you have missed what?
We are
3 weeks in a row?
we are still profitable with the teasers. All right. This week we're going with a bunch of name brands that I think people are gonna like because the line week are pretty good. All right. Same strategy, 6 legs, 8.5 points, plus 450. We get Penn State from 8.5 to a money line. So Penn State money line over Maryland. Louisville gets down from 9.5 to -1 against Virginia Tech. That's in Louisville. Everybody's favorite, Arizona, bumping them up to +11 against UCLA at home. Washington, we're breaking 0, which some people say you don't do, but I say fuck them. Washington +5.5 at USC, so we can get them to lose by a field goal if it happens. Clark, I'm sorry, but we're going to go Kansas +11 against Iowa State. I think if Iowa State does win that one, I think it'll be a touchdown at most, maybe a last second field goal.
I don't hate it.
It's a solid pick.
And then we talked about the Kool-Aid earlier in the podcast. Nobody's drinking it anymore. Oregon State -5. They were 13.5, getting them down to -5 against Colorado in Colorado. Colorado hasn't shown that they're up to the task lately. So I'm going to say Oregon State goes in and wins by at least a touchdown. So that's it. It's Penn State, Louisville, Arizona, Washington, Kansas, Oregon State. If we hit this one or any of them throughout the entire year, you will at least break even betting these the entire year. So, but we're going to try to rattle off a couple more here by the end of the year. Bowl season still going to be available. That's only regular season talk there. If we hit one more throughout the regular season, you've been profitable the entire time. But I feel really good about this one. So Oklahoma's kind of cost us in the last few, but they're not here this week. So hopefully we can get another hit and get you guys back in the profit with that one. That is it for us this week. Remember to check us out on all socials. Get a shirt ordered. Ethan, you got anything left for us to say?
No, you nailed it. Go buy those t-shirts. Go buy some stickers. Those get sent out pretty much. I want to say I try and get them out day of, maybe even the day after. But they get sent out very quick. I promise you.
Yep. All right. As always, guys, we gave you the picks. Now it's your turn to show me the money.
Clones, baby. Clones.